When sinkholes are in the news, the media turns to Helicon Foundation Repair, the sinkhole experts.
But there are some ways that homeowners can protect their house before a sinkhole opens up. For more on that, we're joined by Fox 13's Josh Cassio, who is live in Seffner. Everybody, after seeing this, Josh, wants to know, what can they do?
You know, Cynthia, I'm told no matter where you live in Florida, you are susceptible to these sorts of sinkholes. So it's really prudent that you look for the telltale signs that one may be forming, the signs that problems are forming around your house. One of the easiest things to look for are cracks in the foundation. Every home is going to settle into the ground a little bit, but when you start seeing cracks forming, that's when you know there's a bigger problem at hand. Another thing you can look for is separation from the framing. If you see cracks forming along the frame of your house, then you might want to start looking into having experts check it out. Now, what you're seeing now is video we shot in Newport Richey today of a crew adding concrete under a home. So that's basically going to make that home sinkhole proof. In Florida, there's more sinkholes here than in any other state, so it's wise to err on the side of caution. Experts say the ground can change by the foot, so it's hard to be sure exactly what's going on underneath your feet, and they say it's better to err on the side of caution, better to be safe than sorry.
If the neighbor has a sinkhole, more than likely that hole is going to, is broader than just that one home. We would recommend that you definitely look into it. It's definitely something that shouldn't be neglected. If you feel that you do have a sinkhole or you're hearing any cracks or pops in the house, we really recommend that you look into it.
We want to bring Jay Silver back. We had phone problems with him earlier. He's president of Helicon Foundation Repair, and they work with sinkholes. And Jay, we were talking about how sinkholes could happen in certain places. They could happen about anywhere, but we were talking about the need for some way to determine if a place is sinkhole prone before something is built there, right?
Yeah, sure, Jack. Just wanted to thank you again for having me back on the show.
Well, you sound a lot better this time, believe me.
Yeah, we got to a landline. The Florida Building Code, Jack, is stronger than ever. And they may, after a tragedy like this, they may take a closer look and see if they need to do any pre-site testing for residential construction, similar to they do in large commercial projects. They would test the site beforehand, and they would normally do that with a physical soil boring test.
All right,
sample down to bedrock.
I have a house in Brandon, 9 years old. And I started noticing some cracks outside the door and a couple of cracks on the ceiling. Should I be concerned, Jay? And if I do, how much is it going to cost me to get it tested to see if I do have a sinkhole?
Sure, that's a great question. And I'm glad you touched on that, because I was listening early when Richard from Artisan Insurance chimed in, and that is sinkhole signs that you're seeing. But those would not fall into the catastrophic collapse type coverage that he was explaining earlier.
Yeah.
Really, catastrophic collapse sinkholes are 1% out of all the ones that happen in Florida. So in a case where you do have legitimate damage, if you don't have the sinkhole loss coverage, which he touched on briefly, that you have to pay an additional premium, that you may really not have any coverage in place unless the house is experiencing a catastrophic collapse.
What would it
deemed uninhabitable?
What would it cost me? What would it cost me just to find out if I have a sinkhole?
If you had the coverage, the sinkhole testing runs, depending on the engineer that does it, right about in the ballpark of $10,000 to have the testing performed.
Might be better taking a chance to let your house collapse.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
That's pretty heavy duty. What could they do, though? I guess given a cost like that, it's going to drive construction costs up pretty dramatically and going to cost a lot more for new home construction.
Yeah, that may be the cause or the result. There is some methods that can be done before construction. But as you had mentioned, that would drive the cost up, and that would be pre-construction piers or some type of pre-grouting.
Yeah, now we've learned that in Seffner, a couple of miles away from that one, there's been another sinkhole developed. There was one in Largo at the Largo Mall there. Are there some areas that are more prone to sinkholes than other areas?
Yes, there is. The highest counties in the state of Florida in rank are Pasco and Hernando up top, and Hillsborough is followed in very close third. So those are the top, they call the sinkhole belt or sinkhole alley of Florida, where we do see the highest concentration of sinkhole problems.
Well, thank your lucky stars if you're living in Pinellas County.
It's looking awfully good right now.
I know.
Jay, want to thank you for joining us this morning on AM Tampa Bay twice.
Thank you, Jay.
We appreciate it, Jack, Ed, and Corey. Yeah, anytime. If folks want to find out more details, we have a ton of information up on our blog, on our website at heliconfoundationrepair.com.
heliconfoundationrepair.com. Thank you, Jay.
When you have a question about sinkholes, call the experts, Helicon Foundation Repair, at 813-567-1065. We keep our promises.